Players will never trust Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast ever again. Trust. It is so hard to get and so easily lost. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. Glad you're all back. I hope you're all in fine form. Think about the people in your life you trust. I mean actually trust. Think about people who have broken your trust. Depending on the circumstances in which that trust was broken. And did the erosion happen over time? Was it one major event? People can feel very differently with friends than they do against brands. And right now, Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro, they're beyond the doghouse, especially with the D&D stuff. They are way beyond being in the doghouse. This isn't just like a negative impact that will go away. I mean, that's what we're here to discuss today. Look at the actual impacts and the fact that they are, after 30 years of building up their brand. And I don't mean exactly Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro together, but Wizards of the Coast built that brand up to a certain level before they were bought by Hasbro. Hasbro made the money machine go burr and kept asking and asking and demanding. Greed took hold. Not profits, greed. There is a difference. And now, we have where we are today. Where players don't trust you, Wizards. They don't trust Hasbro. They don't trust the brand. And the people who have stood behind you so long, they don't trust you anymore. When you think about all the years that a company has spent building up their brand, building up the recognition of that brand, to suddenly lose it en masse is devastating to a company. And think about what it means to trust. Think about what we're talking about. The assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something. Think about that. How easy is that to do? That's not easy to build up that level of trust. To believe in a company that is going to do what they say they're going to do and not go back on their word. To trust something. And then to lose it. To lose that trust. And maybe not in all players, but in enough that it really matters. It matters a lot to the people that you've lost their trust. Now, when you take a look at distrust, think about this, distrust. The feeling that someone or something cannot be relied upon. Your word means nothing. All those years, Spirit of the Reserve List, the Spirit of the Reserve List, we're never going to print it again, and you printed it. We're not going to do this, you did it. We're not going to raise prices this year, but you did. We're going to keep a close eye on things, and you didn't. And of all the years that have gone by, this, of course, was the most devastating year. This is the year where everything hit the linchpin. Now, when a company gets devastated and rocked like this, they are going to reflect, but it's probably already too late. Because when you hurt your brand this badly, when things go this wrong for a company like this, you got to take a look at the next cycle. Customers are disappointed. Customers feel disconnected from the company and or its employees. Customers learn not to trust that brand. Customers feel disrespected. Customers no longer feel a sense of brand loyalty. I don't know if a lot of you have noticed, but there's been more talk of things like Fab, MetaZoo, Weiss, on a lot of the other channels where I wouldn't normally hear this stuff. Players are branching out because some players have actually left the game. We talked about this before. We're beating a dead horse on that. But we're talking about trust versus distrust in a company brand and what they're going to do. When I look at this company and look how far they have come, 30 years, and how quickly they fell, all those years, from the early reserve list adoption, created and cared for. Those stewards of the game failed in the execution of many parts, but this was the most critical. They've always maintained a certain level with the reserve list. But here's the one good thing. Do you think they're going to mess with the reserve list again anytime soon? Of course they're going to try again at some point, but anytime soon. 5 years, 10 years, do you think they're really going to abolish the reserve list after their brand has taken a hit like this? I don't believe so. In my opinion, the reserve list has probably never been more secure than it is right now. Because they realize the hit they've taken. They realize the damage that has been done to the brand. They realize the epic proportions of what they've gone through. Yeah, they've got the Q4 coming up. That'll be quite the conversation. I can't wait to be there for something like that. They will have other things to deal with going forward. But the deception that players feel, the loss of respect for the game that they love, to that company, it's just a game. To many players, it's a passion. And that company's failure to recognize that is their biggest fault. And then they make the mistake of going after Dungeons and Dragons, where some of the fans of that game are far more passionate than most Magic players I know. How idiotic and moronic do you have to be? Don't worry. I'm sure it'll get worse before it gets better. But now when I'm thinking back to the reserve list, I feel very secure in the purchases I've been making because I don't believe they're going to touch it. I believe it's more safe now than it ever has been before since its creation, because they cannot step outside the bounds now. They can't step outside that boundary line without sinking the whole ship at this point. They're undergoing a massive overhaul and repairs on that battleship, and it's taken too many hits. They got to leave well enough alone. They got to put it into dry dock for repairs. And it's going to take a long time. Because earning back that trust won't take 1, 2, 5 years. And they will throw salvos to try to get us to bite into it. And I'll have a video coming up on what some of that salvo of attack is going to look like. Because it's very evident to me. And it should be for most of you. So we'll have another video coming up on this. It'll probably be tomorrow. I think you'll probably see it. But it's interesting to see how they play this stuff out. They just don't think it through, and that's their biggest mistake. The failure to recognize the passion of the players involved. This is not Risk. This is not a game of world domination. They have a brand, and their brand was games. And they have other things under that umbrella, but most people associate Hasbro with toys and games. And Magic the Gathering is a game with passionate players. And unlike that game of Risk, which hasn't really changed other than different versions like Star Wars Risk or Lord of the Rings Risk over the years, Magic is an ever-evolving game, which gives them a greater chance for profits as opposed to a Risk board game or a Monopoly board game. But they took it too far, players recognized it, and they're trying to do the same thing with Dungeons and Dragons, and they failed there too. When I look at this symbol, this brand, Wizards of the Coast, and I take my kid shopping, or my kid takes his kid shopping years from now, the events of the 30th anniversary will still be in their minds. They're old enough, they're going to remember it. We, as adults, are going to remember it. The damage to the brand is going to last for decades. When you look at Hasbro, and you're taking your grandkids shopping 20 years from now, you will remember the M30. The 30th anniversary will not go away. It will be sitting here in perpetuity forever for any player who was around when it happened. Millions of Magic players will remember this. And when they go out buying a board game, they may even second guess if they want to buy a game from that company. If they want to go to a movie made by those people. It's interesting to think about. And no, it won't affect everyone. I get it. Many people won't even care. Probably the majority of people won't even remember, but there is a segment that does. And those people were probably the most loyal people. They may have complained the most as well, but they're loyal and they want to buy the product. And when you think here and you go, hey, good old Chris and Cynthia, how do I feel about you two? You're running the company. You're running it. They are running it. But they are not running what we need them to run. They're not bringing passion to the game. They're bringing passion to the pocketbooks of the investors. You can look to the game and enjoy the game without supporting them. You can boycott the products. I've done so pretty much 100% myself. I'm barely buying anything. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop buying forever. There are products that are going to entice us in. There are products that are going to be fantastic. And they will have things they purposely put in to try to draw the players back in, to try to draw cash back into the game. It'll be subtle at first. It will happen though. It's going to be there. And they will wear away the walls of defense on some people, where others they may not. But that is not going to matter when it comes to the recognition of the brand and the damage they've done financially to the company going forward. That 5 minutes of wanton destruction, it won't be forgotten. It's going to be here a long time. And the company can't walk away from that. They can't walk away from the bad press, which might be 5 minutes in a major news thing. News cycle did it and left. But it's in written word. It's online. And there are millions of people who will remember it, even if it's only in passing. Great job, Chris. Great job, Cynthia. Damaged a brand that took that long to build. What can you say? How can you trust them again? I don't think most people will ever trust that company. Guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out in the channel today. If you enjoyed the content today, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join in the fun. It's free to do. Turn on your notification bell, of course, to let you know my videos come up each and every day. And thanks again for watching. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow for another video. We're going to do a little talk about Phyrexia All Will Be One because they've hidden some stuff there that you probably need to know about. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons on my channel. I can't wait to see you guys for the live stream on Sunday. We got a few surprises in store and I can't wait to share it with all my patrons. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you on Sunday. Here you are. You made it to the end. Thanks for being here. You know what we're going to say? In the comment sections today, you got to put GoBots. You got to put GoBots. If you don't know what that is, just put GoBots anyway. It's a toy. I think it was made by Takara back in the day. Little metal Transformer style toys from Globotron. Very cool stuff, man. Very cool stuff. So put GoBots in the comments section. Now listen to the ramble as we end things off. The brand damage is real. It is bad and it isn't going to go away. And most people forget that when they hate Wizards, they realize, show that image to somebody and say, what do you think about when you see that image? That's what I did. Interesting what people will answer. Very interesting. You have a lot of fun with it too. So thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Looking forward to seeing you guys this weekend. And hey, another great day in Magic though. Enjoy the game. It is a fun thing to do. I'll see you guys soon.